Hey, it's Aaron the host for Mobilereviews-eh.ca, and today we're going to do the full review for the Ballistic Hardcore case for the iPhone 6. Ballistic markets this case as a tough case for your iPhone 6, and we totally agree. And actually, we were very pleasantly surprised with this case because we've reviewed other Ballistic cases before, the Everyone as well as a Hydra, and we weren't too impressed with those cases, especially around the build quality. I don't have a build quality issue with this case at all. The best part about this case is how great it is to access your iPhone 6 inside this tough case. The worst part about this case is that the dust protection, in my opinion, is a bit lacking, and because the case is a little finicky to install, those two things added together, well, not a great combination. Now, based on our time with this case, we gave it a score of 3.9 A's out of 5. It does much better than the Otterbox Defender, a little better than the Griffin Survivor, and I'll get to that comparison in a bit.
Real usage, real reviews. Mobilereviews-eh.ca.
At Mobilereviews-eh, we base everything on actual usage, so we just don't get the case, unbox it, and then review it because you don't actually know how well it's going to perform. We use it on our day-to-day lives. This case is droppable from 12 feet, so we went and dropped it from 12 feet. We were concerned with how dust would interact with the case, so we dropped it in a very dusty area and we took a look at what happened. Now, before we actually assign a score, we rated against other cases that are similar, so the Defender as well as the Survivor, before actually coming up with the final number. That's how we do our stuff at Mobile Reviews, and as you can tell, we really like reviewing stuff apparently on the internet. As I said earlier, accessing your iPhone 6 inside the case is pretty awesome. The screen viewability and usability, there is almost no gap. I can't feel a gap between the iPhone 6 and the touchscreen, which is nice, which then reduces the amount of glare and reflections that you see off of your iPhone 6 inside this case. It does diffuse it a little bit if you stare at it very, very closely, but that doesn't bother me, and I'm really picky about stuff like that. Another awesome feature of the Hardcore is how the case is actually designed. It feels incredibly well built, but if you don't need the 12 feet protection, you can actually take off the rubber sleeve and still have your iPhone protected from probably 6 to 8 feet drops. Without the rubber sleeve, that kind of looks like the Tough jacket. Regardless of which setup, the Hardcore still fits in the belt holster, which is just really, really awesome. In terms of dust protection, this case suffers the same problem as the Otterbox Defender, as there are no seals and there are giant cutouts that allow dust and small debris in. There are no membranes that cover certain parts of the iPhone, and as you can see from these photos, stuff's going to get between your iPhone and case, and over time it may damage your iPhone. Now, to circumvent this problem, you could take the case apart and then clean it, rather frequently, I'd say. But this case is kind of finicky to install and uninstall, and so you've got a small issue with the dust. You got a case that's kind of finicky to take apart. Those two things don't go well together. So those are the features that stood out the most to me for the Ballistic Hardcore. I'm going to take the next few minutes and kind of go through a couple more details. If you would rather read those details, head over to our website. We've got a review table that has everything that we've marked the Ballistic Hardcore against. After we step through those details, I will give a small comparison between this case and the Defender as well as the Survivor. In terms of design, this is a big case. In fact, it's one of the biggest cases that we've reviewed for the iPhone 6. Now, despite its heft, you're able to take the rubber sleeve, which reduces the bulk, and you're able to tailor your protection depending on what situation you're in. As we mentioned at the beginning of the video, the build quality of the case is really good. Everything fits incredibly well. In terms of protection, 12 feet. You can drop this thing from 12 feet, which is pretty incredible. Now, those numbers don't actually mean anything if we didn't actually try to drop our iPhones from 12 feet, which we did, and there is nothing in that video that proves otherwise that this case won't protect your iPhone 6 from a 12-foot drop. In terms of screen protection, there is a pretty thick screen protector. The lip of the case is pretty high, so it will keep your iPhone 6 touchscreen off its flat surface. It's about 1/4 inch in height, so it's pretty significant. However, the top of the iPhone, right by the camera sensors, isn't covered, so there is still a chance that you might damage your iPhone around there. In terms of functionality, the standout feature is the screen usability of the case. I'm not going to talk any more about that because I already talked about it quite a bit in the beginning of the video. Getting to your iPhone physically, the buttons have a really nice response to them. Your port flaps are easy to get to. The Touch ID sensor actually works fairly well, and we were very concerned when we first got this case because it's so high, but we didn't have any problems using our fingers to access our Touch ID sensor. Before we do the case comparison, if this is the first time you're watching one of our videos, I do encourage you to click subscribe. We put out 2 to 3 videos a week. We do a lot of product reviews, tips and tricks, as well as news. If you like what we do at Mobile Reviews-eh, do consider supporting us either through Patreon or, getting one of our t-shirts. This is one of my fancy purple t-shirts. Helping me through Patreon and getting a t-shirt allows me to be here for the iPhone 7. Now, between the Otterbox Defender, Griffin Survivor, and the Ballistic Hardcore, this case is better than both of those in my opinion. It is tougher than both of those in terms of shock protection. It costs just as much as an Otterbox Defender, and we scored it way better than it, so why wouldn't you go with this case? Offers more functionality with the belt holster, as well as getting to your iPhone. You don't have to deal with the stupid screen gaps that occur on the Defender, as well as the Survivor. Now, between those two cases, the only case that is actually better in one aspect than the Ballistic Hardcore is the Griffin Survivor, because it has these membranes that cover all the camera ports. The cutout has been improved compared to other versions, so that case will definitely keep dust and water out better than your Ballistic Hardcore case. I'm Aaron the Ho. If you have any questions for me, please leave them in the comment section below, because I'd be more than happy to answer them. If you scroll through all the comments on our other videos, I do try to get back to most people, unless you're screaming at me in all caps, which just, I don't know why you would do that over the internet. You can find us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and we are also on Google+, but because I have a YouTube account, I need to have the Google+ page, but that's not the point of this video. Thank you for watching. That's all I got.